to a software developer on a project. The reason why I picked this topic is because I asked some of my colleagues and friends like, software developer, like, how do you design without a UI UX? They said, all these people, they can design, without the UI UX designer. So, but it's kind of hard. The person was like, it's like going to a new place without having a Google map. You have to be asking everybody at the job, like, okay, please, I'm going to this social place. They will direct you. Some of them might not even know the place you are going to, so they'll just keep directing you. But on Google, you might even just input the address, and it will take you straight to the house. So I was like, okay, well, this makes sense. Let me just try to do my research on it. Okay, so my table of content, I'll talk about introduction, what is project, who is a software developer, who is a UI UX designer, relevance of UI UX designer to a software developer, and conclusion. Okay, so introduction, I was like, hundreds of apps are released daily into the market. Still, a significant portion of those apps fail to engage with users and to achieve business goals. Most of the time, this problem is due to poor UI UX design. Okay, so I'm pretty sure most of you have been to a site or an app that you don't quite like it because, first of all, you don't like the interface, the way it looks, and the experience you feel while interacting with the interface might be bad. So you'd be like, it's not really doing what you want. Even if it is satisfying even if the app is meant to satisfy your needs. Sometimes when you see the interface, you'd be like, I don't even want to go further. I don't want to know what this app is all about. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. So I have decided to break it down so that it will be, be easy for us to understand. So I'm going to be talking about projects. Projects, an individual or collaborative enterprise that is carefully planned to achieve a particular goal, a particular aim. When you want to do a project, you have to plan, you have to talk to your team, like, okay, this is what we want to do. How are we going to go about it? What are the steps you're going to take and stuff like that? That's what we call projects. So who is the software developer? A software developer consists of design and build computer programs. Some develop new applications for mobile or desktop use. All these software developers, they are the one that do the coding and stuff like that, just to make the interface to work and cloud and stuff like that. Those are software developers are. So I'll be talking about UI UX designer. This UI UX, they are like two different things. Although a person can be involved in the two. So UI is user interface and US is user experience. User experience is how you feel while interacting with a product, a website, an app. This is how you feel. That's what we call UX. Why UI is what you are present, as in what you are interacting with to have that experience. When you go to the site, like, okay, this is the login button. Okay, that's UI. Like, okay, this is the logout, these settings, see the color, see the typography, see the images. That's what we call the user interface. Why the user experience is how we are feeling. Like, no, I don't like the button. I have to be stressing me too much. Why would they have to put the login button at the top corner? Why would they do this and that? Why would they do this? It's not even satisfying what I want. So those are what we call user experience. Moving on. So I decided to make it interactive, so I will be able to go through it like with an example, so you'll be able to understand what we're talking about. Well, everything I'm going to be talking about is just based on our assumption. It's not like an actual research. What we get at. Okay, so the steps. I say the first step is to empathize. At this stage, the first process where a UX designer seeks to understand user frustration, because the apps, the sites, the product you are trying to put out there is supposed to be user-centered. It's supposed to be satisfying a need. It's supposed to be solving a problem. Because if it is not solving a problem, then people will not even want to use it. So, when I take, for example, we are trying to develop a learning app. So I said, the first thing we did was we administer questionnaire to the users to gather data about their problems. Like we send out questionnaire like, okay, what is your problem? What do you want to do? Stuff like that. What are you angry with and stuff like that. Just for example, let me use Uber as an example. I'm pretty sure when they went to the market, they will see that a lot of people are getting frustrated of going to enter the public transport, having to, sit down like 5 people on a seat, frustrated and stuff like that. So they decided to, make it that it is people that have private cars and people that have private cars can also make money while going to people that need to convey them to their destination. Is someone saying something? Okay, so next step is define. After you've gathered all the data from the empathize stage, you have to now say, okay, what is now the core problem? Because when you are doing those administering the questionnaire, there's going to be a lot of problems, like a lot of people saying that this is what they want, this is what you have to be the one, to pinpoint like, okay, what is the real problem? Let's analyze the data we've collected. So it is this step that you now pinpoint it. So I said learning app. I said we analyze the problems to determine the most common problem among users. By so doing, we pinpoint which is the core problem. So this stage, as I said, is just to get the problem of what is really happening. So the next step is ideate. Ideate is when you start generating ideas like, okay, what can we do, to solve these people problems? We've recognized their problem, we've identified it. What can we now do, to solve the problem? So in this step, you have to, try to look at your competitors, what they are doing that is making them excel and what they are doing right. In this process, there's a lot of brainstorming, a lot of talking like, okay, I think Coursera is doing this. Let's try to do this. I think Udemy too is doing this. Let's try to, incorporate it with what we are doing. But although we will, try to, put some things that we feel that we know the users needs, but all these people are lacking. So I'll be able to stand out. Because during your research, you'll have noticed that, okay, all these people want, maybe they want to be able to, video themselves while reading, maybe they want this and that. So it is this stage. It is at even this stage, you start seeing people coming up with a lot of crazy ideas. Maybe during the Uber time when they're brainstorming, maybe someone say, can't we just give them an airplane? Can't we, all these crazy ideas, so people like, wow. So it's kind of in a way, try to open their creative mind, like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And it's kind of fun though when they are doing that. Okay, so the next step is prototype. Prototype is like mock-up, like, okay, after okay, this is where like a UI comes in. After they've done all the research, you have to put everything in visual, you have to put everything in visual representative, like, okay, this is where this is, this is what it is, this is what it is. There's wireframe, there's prototype. Wireframe is majorly white. They use majorly white, black, and gray color. They don't use other colors to beautify it. It's just for them to identify, okay, this is where we want this to be, this is where we want this to be. So afterwards, they will now start, okay, we've done this, let's start adding colors to make it beautiful. At this prototype stage is where you give your friends, your close, your colleagues, people to just, to try it out. Like, okay, how do you feel when using the app? Do you feel amazed? Do you feel it is satisfying your needs? Do you feel you are comfortable with it? And you'll be like, okay, I feel you can do this. I feel you can do that. So at this stage, you start gathering things, and you start making correction. So after making correction, you now hand it over to the software developer. The software developer will now develop it and do everything you want to do. Before you now take it, you now give it to it will now go to the test stage, testing stage. You now give it to the users to, to use rather. So when they are using it, okay, at this stage, you've like after the prototype, you've done the correction. So at this testing stage, the problems that will arise will not be as much as how people that are using in prototype says it is. Okay, but I want to state something. After all this, even if it has been put in the market and stuff like that, and people are using it, it is not the end of that site. It is not the end of that product, because it's like a circle. It will now go back into the system like, okay, what do you feel can improve these people's experience? That's why you see Facebook, they update like all the time, like, not all the time, but Facebook updates. Remember when we started using what's it called? WhatsApp. There are some features that are not there, just like the status. It was not there when we started, but now they've incorporated it. And I know most of us are, a majority of us, when we are kind of bored, we just say, let me go and see what these people are posting, and smile and laugh like that. You kind of really enjoyed it. So, and I decided to this is the wireframe and the prototype. The wireframe, as I said, it consists of the white, black, and gray, which is on my left, and the prototype, which colors has been added and stuff like that. This is it at my right. Okay. So when you click the login, this is the next step it's supposed to, do. And I must state, you have to know that a UI UX designer UI designer have to design all the pages, like, okay, where the setting page, the error page, and all that, so that it will be able to help the software developer. Like, it will be easy when they are coding. It's not as if they now be thinking like, okay, where should I put this? Where should I put this? Where? Because the layout has been there for them, they will just be working on it. So this is a software developing process. Like, okay, we start coding. Although I don't know what this is, but I'm pretty sure people in the coding department here, they will understand what it is. Okay, so the relevance of a UI UX designer to a software developer. The first step is a user-centric mindset, thinking about the users. Like, when you're incorporating your design into the software development process, it isn't just about applying specific tools or techniques. It's supposed to be user-centric. Like, okay, this is what we are trying to solve. This is the problem. This is the problem these people are having. How am I going to solve it? How are we going to make sure they continue to come back, they continue to refer their friends and stuff like that. So it has to be around them, like around the users. Okay, so the next one is UX design, the spine of product development. The user experience is about understanding the user's needs, gathering insight, and designing a solution to address those needs effectively. Like, you go into the market, you do your research, you try to bring up ideas and stuff like that. So it is the core, it is the spine of the product, because obviously the product you are doing is for the users, not for yourself. You can't just say, I want to design a product that I want to be using, and you want to make money from it, you want to do other stuff. So you have to make sure it's about the users. That's when I say UI design bring life to the product. Like, once after the wireframe, when they start adding colors, you see that it started getting beautiful. You start liking it to be like, okay, yes, I really love this app. Wow, it's amazing. I love the way I interact with it and stuff like that. So you feel like, okay, yeah, this is what I want. Hello, can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so the next one is lower cost and time management. Since you've done the research, you've done all this, it helps you, it saves you time, it saves you a lot of resources and stuff like that. Unlike you not going to do the research, you're not going through all this design thinking stage, you just decide to just design and you just put it out there. First of all, you don't know the problem the user are trying to solve. So even if you create it, make it beautiful, it will not, people will not patronize it, people will not even refer people to your side. So it's going to be frustrating, because you have to now go back again and start saying, okay, what can I do again? You do it again, you put it out there, they won't still use the app, they won't still use the site, because there are some process that you've skipped that you're not doing, that should have been done, that would have made save you the time and the cost. So those are it. So in conclusion, I said the role of a UI UX design is majorly to do research, build visual layout of a product to make life better. You see, life better and easy for a user. Once you are doing this for a user and you're making them your life better, trust me, your products will not go extinct. Like, people will just keep coming back. Like, okay, you have a problem. You just tell your friend, Alpha Sadiq, have you seen this app? It's amazing. It's doing this and that and stuff like that. So they will keep coming. So I say it is safe to say UI UX designer acts as an architect who maps out how the product will look and action to perform. Why a software developer is like a bricklayer who executes plans made by a UI UX. The architect of the house, like, okay, so this is where the bedroom will be, this is where the toilet will be, this is where stuff like that. So it's not the bricklayers that will now start putting the blocks, trying to build it, trying to develop it and stuff like that. So thank you. That's the end of my presentation. If anybody has a question, I'll be around to answer. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Do anybody have a question?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So you now mentioned tools that are out there for doing prototypes and.
Oh, for UI. Okay. There are a lot of apps. So, like, okay, there's Figma. Some people use Adobe. Some people use Sketch. So there are a lot of apps. Until this, I didn't go in depth. Sure, you get that, because there are a lot of processes. There's a place that you do information architect, where you map up how the apps will be like and stuff like that. Sure, you get. So it's just like to explain how it is, how it will look like. I hope you get that.
All right.
Hello.
All right. Yeah.
Do anybody else has a question?
All right. Okay, Victor. Thank you very much. Those that have questions, they will have opportunity to ask.
Okay.
At the end of the second presenter. Joseph with us here.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome. So you can share your screen. So Victor, please stop sharing your screen. Joseph, you can share your screen.
Okay. Yes, can you see my screen?
I can.
All right, okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph Oyebola, and this morning I'll be talking about the 5 phases of project management, otherwise known as a process group. So I picked this topic simply because before I joined this program, trust me when I say I don't know that there is a life cycle to a project, So I kind of feel, when you want to do a project, you just think about your idea and you start jotting a few things down and boom, you've done it. So little wonder I have failed in so many, projects I have tried. But of course, now I think I'm equipped with the knowledge that there needs to be a foundation to be laid before we start a project. So let's delve in. So before we establish that there's a project management phases, of course, there needs to be a project. So what is a project? A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. So what does this tell us? It says the project is unique, the project is temporary, that is to say a project is finite. It has a beginning and an end time, and a project is goal-oriented. Suffice to say that in project management framework, the 5 phases are extremely integral and crucial to the success of a project. So what is project management? Project management is the application of knowledge, of skill, of tool and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. So for the body of project management, for you to, say you are involved in the project management, so there needs to be an application of knowledge. What do you know? The skills, what do you know how to do? And tools, specific tools, so the project management and techniques to ensure that we meet the requirements of the project. And it is also the process of guiding a team to achieving all project goals within a certain period. So that's that for project management. So now let's delve in, into the brass tacks of the phases of project management. So we have 5 phases like it was initially established. We have the initiation, the planning, the executing, monitoring and control, and the closure. So the first phase is the initiation phase. So this is where the project sponsors lays the foundation, of the project. They define the overall objective and goal, or what the project needs to, to tackle and achieve. So here they suggest budgets, available resources, what are the expected benefits, what is the overall scope of the project. So what we have here says the initiation phase is the conceptualization stage where the goal of the project is defined. The phase begins with either an idea, a business need, market need, or customer request, initiated by the project sponsor. So this is the person that conceptualized the idea, the project sponsor, who lays the foundation for the project by defining the overall problem that needs resolution. Here, the feasibility of the project is discussed, such as what should be the budget, what are the available resources, will the project deliver the expected benefit, what should be the scope. And it is also worthy of note that it is at this stage, that is the initiation stage, that the project manager is selected. And of course, when we are coming out of the initiation stage, we should have some documents such as the business case. The business case provides justification for undertaking a project. It talks about the benefit like it was earlier established. And also we should have what is called the project charter. The project charter is a short, straightforward document that serves as the foundation of the project. So from the initiation stage, we move to the planning stage. The planning stage is the most crucial part of the project, and it gives guidance to stakeholders on where and how to undertake the project. This is a stage where the project plans are documented, the project deliverables and requirements are defined, and the project schedule is created. I mean, it's safe to say that the plan created will help the project team manage cost, manage time, changes, risk, qualities, and other issues relating to the project. It's a very crucial stage, and trust me when I say it can make or mar the project. Then we move to the third stage, which is the project execution phase. The project execution phase is where the project execution is the phase where project-related processes are implemented. Here tasks are assigned, resources are allocated. People get to work basically. They get to work. So they start creating deliverables. So this method also involves building deliverables and satisfying customer requirements. Project manager or team leaders accomplish the task through resource allocation by keeping team members focused. Then we move to the fourth stage, which is monitoring and control. So monitoring here is collecting, recording, and reporting information concerning the project performance that the project manager and others need to know, while the control is the process of making things happen in an ordered manner. We monitor to control and react appropriately to deviations and changes to plans. In a project, we monitor input and output such as money spent, resources, material usage, progress, cost, job starts, job completion, design changes, etc. We also have the controlled triple constraints, which is the time, cost, and performance. So this is a stage that runs parallel with the execution stage. And lastly, we have the closure. So this is the last stage of the process as established here. It is here that the project is formally closed and the project board received the report of the overall success. So this is formal close of the project, handling project results, final result verification, and the project management closure process also give the team the opportunity to review and evaluate the project's performance to ensure future project success. So this is the end of my presentation. So I'll be waiting for any available question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you to the presenter. The floor is open for question for Mr.
Okay.
Victor.
Hello, good morning, Joseph.
Yes, good morning.
So at the beginning, you actually said in your presentation that initiation phase is where the project manager is selected.
Yes, I mentioned that.
It's a little bit confusing because if a project is about to start, like if it actually has to get into the initiation stage and you're involving a project manager, then doesn't that kind of make it difficult for the project manager to actually cope? Because, okay, I would say a little bit from experience, I feel like from the very beginning where a client or a prospective client is saying, okay, I need you to do this as a complaint for me. He had just said that. So it's already defined if they actually want what's it called? They want a hosting, they want a web application or a mobile application. And if you actually choose somebody at that point, the project manager at that point, the person actually starts following up on everything that is happening. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so I just want you to explain why you feel it has to get to the initiation phase before a project manager is selected.
Well, for me, I kind of think this is the very, like I said, it's the conceptualization stage. So a whole lot of things are put into consideration. So it's not just about, oh, we have an idea. A whole lot of processes would have gone through, and it has been established that we have a project to run. After every approval from the necessary stakeholders, then I can say it's safe to say we can bring up a project manager, because what comes next is the planning stage. I think the project manager should be actively involved in the planning stage, because as far as I'm concerned, this is where the project manager even shines the most, because it needs to be part of the planning stage of the project. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any question? More question? All right. If there's no question coming up, you have to evaluate your audience based on your content. I'll start with Victor. Victor, are you there?
Yes, boss, I'm still here.
You can evaluate your audience.
Okay. My first question is, have anybody been to a site or an app and they don't just like the way it looks like? Anybody can just answer that.
Yes, I have been.
Okay. Thanks for the reply. And another question is, do you feel a UI UX designer is needed in a project? Anybody?
You can call your name Victor.
Yes, definitely. The UI UX actually needed in a project, because sincerely, as a developer, trying to figure out the whole design, the whole interface, it's not an easy job. Even if you, like I saying this now, even if you have an idea of what you want to, you can be professional as someone who is into whose job is just to design an interface. So definitely a UI UX is heavily needed in the project that you want to look good.
Thanks, Mr. Patrick, for the answer. I really appreciate it.
All right, Victor, it's okay.
Okay,
Over to
think that's all.
Mr. Joseph. We may come back to you, Victor, there's still time.
No problem, sir.
Okay. Joseph,
Okay.
over to you.
Yes, I would just like to ask, why does anyone think planning is important to a project?
Please, your question again, please.
The question is,
I didn't hear you.
why does, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I
can.
asked that, why does anyone think planning is important to a project?
Let me just answer that quickly. There's a saying that says, if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. So anybody that thinks that planning is not important is already failing already. The only thing you want to do in this life, if you don't plan, if you dabble into it, then like they say, dabble in, dabble out. That's what you're going to get. So that's it. If you don't plan at the beginning, definitely you're still going to get a plan at the end. So planning is inevitable. Planning is essential.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I discussed, I talked briefly about project business case. Can anyone tell me what that is again?
So the last statement, please. Hello.
Yes, can you hear me? What did you say?
I said I didn't get the last statement. The statement you made last.
Yes, I said I touched briefly on business case. Can anyone tell us what that is?
Business what?
Business case. Business case.
Okay. Okay.
Joseph, can call a name if there's nobody replying.
Okay, I'll say for me that a business case is like a reference point during the duration of a project. So it basically just entails the ultimate goal of the project for the project manager and then the project sponsor. Hello?
Yeah, thank you. I heard that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, over to you, Victor.
Yes,
thank you.
All right, so that will be all from me. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Victor, do you have more questions for your audience?
Well, basically, okay, my last question is, what is UX? Like now, what UX rather?
Well, UX is user experience.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mr. Damlar. That's all from my end here.
All right.
Sorry,
okay.
Jacob, I have a question for Victor.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Victor, you mentioned during your last question, you asked why was it called UI UX designer is needed. Now, before I think before 5 years ago, UI UX was not really really known. So people were able to actually build softwares, build applications, and you know, I would say they did not actually have that term UI UX. So why is it that it is now important to have one? Why can't people just, you know, freestyle it as they have always been freestyling it and it was okay?
Okay, I like that question. First of all, those times, do you think it was easy for them? It's like, as I said, you know, UI UX is obviously to do research and, you know, try to solve people's problem. So if you ask those people then that would they have loved it if there was a UI UX designer, I bet they would have said yes, they would have loved it then, because it's not easy to try to, you know, because they are designing, they are making it work. So thinking of, okay, what color can they mix? You know, there's a lot of process involved in those things. Like, okay, they have to do research.
Hello, we cannot hear you again. No. Please, can anybody hear Victor?
No, I don't think so.
I can't hear him again. No.
I have an idea to the question. I don't know if I can come in and start.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I think two things contributed to the need for a UI UX designer. Number one, customer demand changed, meaning the customers, that's me and you, we demanded for better.
Hello?
Okay, Victor is back.
I'm sorry for that.
Oh, okay, I was already covering for you.
Okay. Don't worry.
Customers demanded
Victor, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so customers demanded for a better interface in terms of the UI, a better experience. The quality of technology 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago cannot be compared to the quality of technology now, right? And secondly, competition. So we all strive to get better at things, right? So whatever app UBA was using years ago, whatever websites any organization was using years ago, they keep using it. They will run out of the competition, right? Other competitors will take over. Why? Because there's always an improvement. Everybody wants to get better than their fellow whatever competitor, right? So that was what brought to the rise of the fact that, okay, there are new technologies that would advance some of these things we are currently doing, right? So new skills need to be learned, new things needs to be done in different ways. So it brought that, I'm sure, brought the idea of, okay, let's have a UI designer or UX designer that focuses mainly on it, not just a graphics designer or a web developer. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Damlari.
We'll still get to your point from your design, from the designer's view.
You said?
Let's get your response from the designer's view as well. To that question.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Damlari. He has basically answered all the questions. You know. Okay, so there are like do's and don'ts in design. You know, like there are some colors you have to use. There are some, you know, as I said, all colors have what they say, and so does the typography you want to use. You can't just use typography that people will not be able to read. And a developer might not even consider all this part, like, okay, where would the login be? They might just say, as long as it functions, let it just be like at the top, let it just be at this, without doing the research. And he said that there are many competitors out there. You are trying to stand out. Why won't you want to, you know, try to like look for what will make you stand out? Put together, like, okay, so all these people are doing this. Let's do our research. What we feel what we think the problem is, so solve it, so that we can be able to be ahead of these other competitors. So that's the reason why most companies or majority of the people want to, you know, bring a UI UX designer to their site so that they can be able to improve their product, so that they can be able to increase their sales and stuff like that.
Okay. Is there a prerequisite of being a UI UX designer? Because I notice there are people that are just UX and then some persons that are just UI. So is there like a prerequisite of being one of them?
I still don't get the question well. Can you please rephrase?
Okay, I'm asking, just like if you want to become a mobile app developer, you have to know one programming language. So
Okay.
for being a UI designer or a UX writer or UI UX designer, do you have to know something before then, or you can just learn it without any prerequisites?
You can just learn it without any prerequisite. There are a lot of schools out there, and I'm talking about all these people like Coursera that teaches people all these things. Although there are steps that you have to, like I said now, like I did a design thinking, all the steps you have to follow. There are a lot of things you have to learn about these things, and so without learning them, you obviously cannot be a UI UX designer. So yeah, that's it, sir. It's not as if you have to have known something before you start.
Okay, so what if you're colorblind?
You said?
What if the person is colorblind?
The person that is designing?
Yes, like wants to become a UI UX designer is colorblind. Because you just
Okay. Thanks for that question. That's why there are a lot of tools that we use. Like, okay, there's a site I can go to that they've already even made it easy that they will just bring, they are like a combination of colors. You understand? I can just pick from that palette and be okay, I'll use this, I'll use this. Sure, you understand? They've already made it easy for you. It's not as if you're like, okay, should I try to mix this color and that and stuff like that? I don't know if I answer your question.
Yes. Thank you very much, Victor.
Sorry. Okay. Please, can you share any of the websites someone can get information? Because right now I'm currently working on a project, and to be honest, I'm colorblind like the way this guy. But I'm not a UI UX designer, but I really is very interesting as a front-end developer. I don't know if you get me. Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
Your network was breaking. I can hardly hear you.
Okay, what I'm saying is that for me, as a front-end developer, I think it's very important to understand color well when you're learning or something. So I think it's very important if you can share that information on any website or something, somebody can learn more about it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
hello?
I can hear you.
Man, your network is really terrible. So I dropped the link in the chat box. Check the link out. You'll see a lot of things there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of them though.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the presenter. Thank you for those questions.
Just Google color palette picker. Just Google it. You see different websites.
Okay.
Google color.
Thank you very much.
Palette picker.
All right, the time is up. We are sorry for extending up to this point, but maybe that's for a purpose. Gwen, I hope you have got the information you need.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So we are putting the KD to an end now. It's time for stand up.